The soldier came home. Cole dragged his old suitcase up to the gate and froze. A cold sold sign hung where laughter used to live. The locks had been changed. In the garage, he stopped cold Lily, his 9-year-old daughter, curled up asleep inside a broken-down car. A hospital band from Mercy General still on her wrist. His chest tightened, but he knew the hurt was only beginning. Who sold this house out from under them? And why was a child forced to sleep in a garage in the middle of her own hometown? That night, Cole swore he'd force open the door that had been locked too long, and the names behind that sold sticker would finally come to light. Cole pulled to the curb, one hand still on the wheel, eyes fixed on the house he knew by heart. A sold sign on the fence read, like a cold warning, he'd never even known the place was on the market. He took out his key and tried the door. New lock. He stood there, heart running hot, mind scrambling. He didn't know what had just happened. Only that fear for his daughter hit him fast. He looked around, checking for any sign of her, and stopped on the garage. She used to fall asleep there when play ran long. A small hope sparked. If she wasn't inside, maybe she was there. He ran to the garage. The door was unlocked. He pushed it open, and the smell of oil, damp, and a trace of someone's heat rolled out. In the dim, an old SUV sat crooked. As his eyes adjusted, he caught a small shape curled on the back seat, a little girl clutching a worn backpack. Hair tangled, shirt ridden up, too thin. He moved closer and eased the door open. She flinched, eyes slitting in the dark, then knew him. Dell? The word barely stirred the air. He didn't answer with words, just held out his hand. She tucked her head, then reached for him. Her body was cold, not from weather, but from too many nights without anyone holding her. He wrapped a blanket around her. His hand brushed her left wrist, a plastic hospital band. Mercy General Hospital, dated less than a week ago. It took a long breath, kept his pulse steady. Lily whispered, "I'm not allowed to sleep in the house anymore." He pulled her in and stared at the dark house. Between the band and her flat little sentence, he understood. What was lost here wasn't only a house. Cole wrapped Lily in his old army blanket and let his own breathing set the pace until hers matched. The Mercy General band on her wrist told him enough. Mara was in the hospital. Lily laid out the rest. Plain and spare lock, changed. Porch. Then garage, no punches. Just shoves. Yelling. Things thrown, some school, then none. Sarah saw her, fed her, told her to come by. He pulled a sweater over her shoulders and set the order. Light and allies first, then locks, papers, police. If Sarah wasn't home, they'd go to Mercy General. Lily wanted to see Mara and worried about Richard. Cole would stand between. It was close to 9 maybe, still within visiting hours. On the walk, he mapped the hospital routine. Room number, condition. Who admitted, who signed, no scenes. Just records and witnesses. One more detail landed hard. Richard had bragged he'd buy the house back. At the night desk, he asked for Mara and got room 312, 10 minutes. Mara, thin but clear, said she couldn't keep the house. Exhausted. She'd signed what Richard pushed in front of her, after he claimed Cole had agreed. Under her pillow she'd hidden copies. A power of attorney naming Cole with a long, wrong signature, A Pioneer Realty closing stamped the same night Lily was put out, numbers scrawled on the back. Cole photographed every page, kept the originals, slid the copies back, and kept the anger sheathed. He'd take it from here. Sarah would be a witness. Outside, he requested the admit summary for morning pickup and headed to Sarah's with Lily. On the way, she asked the only question that mattered: could they get the house back? He gave the only answer that counted: yes. In the lobby light, Cole stopped and opened his phone, scrolling the photo's fake signature on the POA. The deposit, the Pioneer Realty sheet. He zoomed the top corner. The logo lines were sharp, closing stamped like a brand. At the bottom, a shaky line read, "Send to address, Mara's hand." He knew her script like he knew a voice through a door. Last line had 3 repeated numbers and a faint mark that looked like a rushed D. Lily leaned in. "That logo. I saw it at Mrs. Sarah's," she said slowly. During the storm, an envelope fell on her stoop. "Looked like this." Cole turned to her, eyes going dark with focus. "You sure?" "I'm sure." She didn't add anything. Cole pocketed the phone and lifted Lily so he could move fast. In his head, the company name stood like a nail driven deep. Pioneer Realty. Next to it, 2 small circles. Sarah and Richard. From now on, every question would run between those 3 points till he found the opening. He pushed through the doors. Cold air came at them. Lily tucked her face into his neck. On the steps he paused, set Lily down, fixed her collar. "Sarah's," he said again, locking it in. Lily nodded. They moved quick. Behind them, the hospital went keyed. In Cole's coat, the paper stack tapped with every step, knocking a reminder against his ribs. There's a forged signature in there, a closing stamped behind his back, and a company name waiting for his knock. On the page, the Pioneer Realty logo sat like a road sign, and at the bottom, those scribbled numbers with that D Cole didn't guess. He left it hanging, because the moment he pushed through the hospital door, his phone buzzed with a number he didn't know. Area code matched the scribble on the back of the page. He stopped in the night-bright lobby, screen blinking, while Lily asked, "Who is it?" "Dad." Cole tightened his grip on the phone and answered. A man's voice came rough and low. "Looking for a house. Pioneer, or Richard's Debt." Then the line went dead. Cole stared into the dark beyond the glass. In the morning, he'd still go to Sarah's, but tonight, that call opened another lane. Somebody out there knew both the company and Richard's IOUs, and that quick D at the bottom might not be a mistake. Sarah opened the door almost on the first knock. She froze a beat when she saw Cole carrying Lily wrapped in the army blanket. Oh my God. The kid, she pulled them both inside. Her voice caught between relief and a choke. Lily flinched on reflex, then relaxed as soon as she caught the familiar soap on Sarah's clothes. "Hi, Mrs. Sarah," she said softly. Sarah hugged her quick, hand patting her back, the way you soothe a child. Then looked at Cole. "You're back. I've been waiting to hear that for a long time." Cole nodded. He set Lily down right next to him and kept a hand on her shoulder. "I just saw Mara at the hospital," he said. "I need the rest of what you know." Sarah pulled a chair and sat across from them. Her eyes got heavy. I was afraid if I spoke too late, I'd only make it worse, she said. And then she started piece by piece like cuts. Early cold snap. I saw Lily outside the grocery. She didn't ask, just stared at the pastry case. I bought 2. Told her to eat 'em warm. She said, "I'll save them." I asked why she didn't go home. She said, "Doors locked." Another night. I took the trash out and found her curled up on your porch. I called to her. She said, "I'm not allowed to make noise." Sarah stopped, blinked, swallowed. One night with a little snow, I brought her in and made porridge. Richard came banging on my door, yelling from outside, "Family business. Don't butt in." I was scared if I stirred it up. It had hit Lily harder. So after that, I just left food on the steps and watched for when no one was looking. Cole listened, his hand tightening on Lily's shoulder without thinking. The girl didn't interrupt, just looked at Sarah with simple gratitude. Sarah waved it off, like brushing away a debt. "I didn't do enough," she said. "I should have called the cops sooner." But Richard kept hanging around, giving the stink eye. I was scared he'd pull something right on my porch and Lily would pay for it. "Did you see him drunk a lot?" Cole asked. Sarah nodded. Reeked of it. Red eyes. Mouth running. He once cursed at Lily right in the yard. I hollered back and he chucked a beer can over my railing, told me to mind my business. I recorded the noise on my phone a few times. In case I had to testify. "Please send me those," Cole said. Sarah nodded. "All in my phone. I'll send now." She stood, went to the back room, and came out with a wrinkled envelope. Set it in front of Cole. "This fell on my stoop during the storm. Your name was on it. But the flap wasn't sealed. I hesitated a few days, didn't want to pry. Then I saw Lily sleeping on the porch again, and I opened it. Pioneer Realty invoice." She exhaled. On the back there's a few scribbled numbers, and the word Duke didn't mean anything to me. I kept it. "To waited for you to come home." Cole slid the bill out. His eyes hit the Pioneer Realty logo in the corner. "Pioneer," he said, voice dropping. Sarah nodded. "I saw a van with that logo parked in front of your place twice. Once in daylight, 2 folks hauling stuff, talking low. Once at night, just 1 man at the fence, smoking, staring at the house, then leaving." She looked straight at Cole. I remember the smoke was strong, and his hand shook. Didn't look like any regular paper pusher. Cole flipped the page. A row of rushed numbers, Duke underlined once, and a faint line that read, "Empty glass," sounded like a bar. He matched the digits to the photo he'd taken at the hospital. Same, first 3 numbers. That anonymous call pinged in his head. Sarah leaned to see. "You know that number." Someone just called, mentioned Pioneer and Richard's debt. Cole said, "Didn't give a name." Sarah frowned. "Duke could be a loan shark. Around here, folks with gambling tabs all know a few names like that." She glanced at Lily and lowered her voice. "Richard gambled a lot. Brought strangers home. I saw a few men knock. Talk 10 minutes. Then leave." Lily moved to the back porch when they came. I stood inside shaking anyway. Lily touched Sarah's hand. "I know you watched out for me." Sarah squeezed back, tying a loose thread. "You didn't do anything wrong." Cole asked it plain. You know where Richard is now. Sarah paused, then nodded. 3 blocks over. Cheap place called Riverside Flats. I saw him go in there 2 nights in a row, Unit 2B. He was in a hurry. Ball cap down, carrying a plastic bag full of cans. She hesitated. I also heard tenants complain banging. Fighting. Can't swear to it. But if you're looking, I think he's holed up there. Cole logged it. Riverside Flats, 2B. He looked at Lily. Stay with Mrs. Sarah for a bit. Okay. Lily nodded. A flicker of worry in her eyes. But she didn't clutch his sleeve. Sarah read it right and stood. I'll keep her. You be careful. Don't go alone if you don't have to. Cole nodded. But he knew he'd go. See the man first. See what he's holding. What he's demanding. I need him to put his papers on the table, he said. Sarah pressed her lips tight. He bragged once he had temporary guardianship. I only half heard he was drunk. Said if anyone argued, he'd have the kid moved. Made Miss Skin crawl. Lily tugged Cole's sleeve. Dad, don't let him see me tonight. Cole bent to her level. He won't. You stay here. A man like that talks louder only when someone's standing next to you. In here. You're safe. Sarah nodded hard. If anything's off, I'll speak up. Cole slid the envelope into his coat. Checked his phone. Plenty of battery. He texted the unknown number. Who is this? If you're Duke. I want to talk after. No reply. He didn't wait. Lock up tight. He told Sarah. If anyone knocks without saying who they are, don't open. Sarah lifted her phone. I've got the precinct's number. I'll call if I have to. Before he left, Sarah pulled an old photo from a drawer and handed it to Lily. Keep this. You and your dad out in the yard in the fall, both of you laughing your heads off. Lily looked at it, her face eased. She folded the picture and slipped it into her pocket like stashing a small piece of quiet. Cole stood. Sarah walked him to the door and then remembered something. She lowered her voice. The memory sharp as a pin. One rainy night I saw a man hanging around your place. Smoking. Stood there a long time. Hands in his pockets. Pacing. When I pulled the curtain, he looked up hard, stared, then turned away. Could have been a collector. Could have been from that company. I just remember a streak of silver paint on his shoe looked like construction boots. Cole filed it under hold for later. The smoker could be the paper guy or the debt guy. Either way, the trail ran through Richard. If you see him again, don't go out, he said. Sarah nodded and shut the door soft. Lily stood inside, fingers still on the corner of the army blanket. Cole took the steps and moved out. Still no text back. He was about to cross the street when the phone buzzed. New message. Different, unknown number. Don't look at the bar. He's really in 2B. But you're not going to like what he puts on the table. No name. Cole paused. Read it. Pocketed the phone. Whoever sent it knew the address, knew why he was going, and knew what he puts on the table. He went back and knocked 3 quick times. Sarah cracked the door. Anyone around? Cole asked. She listened, then shook her head. Quiet. Cole nodded. I'm going now. Lock it. The door closed. The deadbolt turned. Cole flipped his collar up and headed straight for Riverside Flats. A few halls down, an old car rolled by slow, paused half a breath, then moved. All he caught was a hand flicking ash. The red tip dropped, flashed, and died on the street. No clean plate. He didn't chase. Everything tonight was wrapped around one point. 2B. He needed Richard to lie with his own mouth and hand over those papers with his own hand. Behind him, the phone buzzed again. This time it was a photo. Scarred wooden table corner. A stack of handwritten care expense receipts. A shaky title, temporary guardianship. And a signature, Richard. Blurry, but readable. Under the photo, a text. Wants money to care for the kid. If not, he says he'll move her somewhere else. Cole stopped dead on the sidewalk. The anger rose hot, but he kept a lid on it, channel it forward, not sideways. He pocketed the phone and picked up the pace. Back at Sarah's, Lily folded the photo and tucked it away, then looked up at her. "Will Dad be long?" "We'll wait," Sarah said, her hand already resting on her phone. "And if I hear a smoker out front, I'll light up every lamp in this house." Lily nodded. They sat quiet. A draft slid across the porch, then faded. In that short hush, Sarah remembered something she'd planned to save for the morning. "Lily, you remember that envelope you picked up on my steps?" The back said, "Empty glass." Lily nodded. "I remember." Sarah swallowed. "That's a bar. Richard goes there a lot, but we'll leave that for later. Tonight your dad goes to 2B first." As she finished, quick footsteps hit the walk outside, then stopped. No knock. A trace of cigarette drifted in. Sarah and Lily looked at each other. Sarah put a finger to her lips and reached for the phone with the other hand. Outside, a coal flared once, then died, leaving a thin, burnt smell. Someone had stood there a while, then moved on. Cole, meanwhile, had turned down the alley toward Riverside Flats, his hand on the phone, and on the other end, those papers waiting. Apartment 2B. The first place he'd have to face Richard was lit. Cole hit 2B. 2 short knocks. Richard answered, red-eyed and reeking. A scarred table behind him, piled with crooked papers. Cole stepped in halfway, stayed on his feet, and started shooting photos. The POA used junk fonts and a dragged fake signature. The court order had a smeared stamp, and probate misspelled. Richard babbled about guardianship and back pay, handwritten receipts for food, utilities, night watch, even an emotional fee, and bragged Pioneer handled the closing. One line said to use Lily's stipend. Cole kept his voice level. Told him the signature was forged. The truth and witnesses were coming. Sarah's text hit. Someone lurking. Smoke in the air. She was taking Lily to the lobby. Cole told her to stay put. Richard saw Lily's name flash on the screen, lunged for the hall, and blew past him. At the corner he slammed into Sarah, ripped Lily free, and went for the stairs. Cole was on him down steel steps. Echoous hard. One reach, brushing the thin hospital band before it slipped. Richard crashed through the first-floor door, knifed the lobby, and aimed for a grey car idling outside. A cigarette ember glowing behind the glass. A guard shouted, Richard never slowed, clamped Lily tighter, and drove straight down the exterior steps. After that dive down the stairs, Richard clamped Lily like a bag of groceries and bolted for the exit. In the lobby, the guard stepped in his way. That little hitch was enough. Lily drove her knee, slipped out of Richard's grip, and fell toward Cole. He caught her tight and turned his body to shield her. Richard cursed, sidestepped a toppled chair, tore out the door, and disappeared into a car that had just rolled up. Cole didn't chase. He held Lily against his chest and dropped his voice. "It's over." Lily panted hard, then settled. Sarah hurried up, hands still shaking. "Come to my place. Rest. We'll deal with it in the morning." Next morning, Cole left Lily with Sarah. "Eat first. Stay put. I'll be right back," he said. Lily nodded. Cole headed straight to the bank branch where he'd opened Lily's stipend account. He put down his ID and birth certificate, kept it short. "I need to review my daughter's account. Looks like some funny withdrawals." The teller looked at her screen. Her face changed. Then she looked up. "Let me get the manager." "Okay," she said. No plastic politeness, just human. She sat him down, printed a quick statement, and slipped it into a clear folder. The manager, a middle-aged guy, brought Cole into a small room. "Mr. Cole." "Right. Take a look." He set 3 sheets in front of him. Over-the-counter withdrawal slips, a copy of a power of attorney, and a temporary guardianship order stamped in red. The balance was almost wiped. The big hits lined up with the weeks Mara was in the hospital. Cole looked at the Cole signature in the corner, long, draggy. Not his hand. He laid his driver's license next to it. "Night and day. I didn't sign any power of attorney." Cole said. "Low." The teller, her badge said Sophie, spoke gently, apologetic in her eyes. All the withdrawals were done at the counter with this POA and that temporary guardianship order. We checked ID on the person making the withdrawals. It matched. Richard. Listed as family. The paperwork looked legit. The manager cut in. Straight. "If this is fake, it's fraud. You'll need to file a report. But first we want to verify what you're saying." He marked the timeline with a pen. 3 big pulls, days apart. Cole went right at it. First one, who was with Richard. The manager hesitated, then turned to his computer. "Let me pull internal video." He clicked through dates, scrubbed to the time on the statement. The screen showed the teller area. No audio needed. Richard walked into frame, hungover face, a packet of papers in his hand. Beside him, a man around 40 in a dark jacket with a round sticker on the left chest, Pioneer Realty logo. The man held a folder open in front of Richard. Tapped spots to sign. Richard signed like crazy. They exchanged a few words. The jacket guy gave a thin smile, slid the papers back into the folder. Richard took a wad of cash, stuffed it in his pocket. They walked out together. Sophie lowered her voice. Next time, same guy brought him. After that, Richard came alone. The manager scrubbed ahead. Another clip. Richard, by himself, waving that temporary guardianship paper. The teller called a manager. They checked longer but still ran the transaction. Because of the court paper, Sophie said. Miserable. Red stump. Bound pages. We didn't know it was fake. Cole didn't blame them. He needed facts. I want copies of everything Richard ever handed in scans too. If you've got them. The manager nodded. We can. But you'll need to sign a dispute. He slid a short form over. Plain language. I, the legal guardian of Lily, did not authorize. Cole read. Signed. Kept his voice even. Sophie stamped the packet of copies and slipped it into its own folder for him. Cole pointed at the screen. Freeze it on the jacket guy. Sophie froze it as the man turned. The Pioneer sticker was clear, face mostly shadowed by a cap, but the jawline and the set of his mouth were there. Cole snapped a photo of the screen logo and timestamped tight in frame. Did he leave a business card? Cole asked. Sophie shook her head. No. They didn't give names. Said they were assisting with the file. The manager looked at Cole. If you need official video, we'll preserve the original. Bring something from the police and we'll release it. No runaround. Just straight. Cole nodded. Thanks. Hold this clip for me. He checked the third hit. Richard showed with a fat envelope and dropped it on the counter. Sophie slowed the playback. When the flap opened, Cole caught a glimpse of a file cover with Pioneer Realty in the corner and clipped under it. A handwritten page full of numbers. Zoomed in. The handwriting looked just like the Duke Sarah had shown him, heavy hand. Leaning right. Hard underlines. Cole squinted. The bridge between Pioneer and Duke was pretty much built. Can you print a still of this? Yes. Sophie said, and hit print. The paper came out softer than the screen, but good enough. Clean logo. And enough of the man's face to match later. Cole tucked it into the folder. One more thing, Sophie said, glancing at the manager. Please, don't take this the wrong way. The first day they came, the jacket guy said, this is a legal file. The family agrees. He even called it a tragic situation. She exhaled. We believed them. Said they were selling the house to cover your sister's medical bills. Cole listened without flaring. They knew where to push. He said. The manager dipped his head like admitting his own people got played. Tell your family. He added, we'll flag the account, no more transactions on old paperwork. If anyone brings it, we call the police. Cole stood and shook both their hands. Thank you. Nothing more, anything extra would only water it down. At the door, his phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Tonight, 10 p.m. Empty glass. Come alone. Duke. Cole stared at the words, empty glass, same as on the back of Sarah's envelope. The piece clicked into place. He answered, I'll be there. Read receipt popped almost at once. Nothing else. He drove back to Sarah's to report in. She opened the door. Lily ran out. You're back. I'm in one piece. Cole said, ruffling her hair. He told Sarah what he'd got. The empty account. The fake POA. The temporary guardianship. And most important, a camera clip of Richard with a man wearing a Pioneer Realty badge. Sarah listened. Anger tight in her eyes. That night I saw a smoker outside your place. The smell was strong. Could have been him. Lily slipped in a small eyes-knit. Sure detail. I remember a black jacket. Silver paint on the left sleeve. Cole logged it. I'm meeting Duke tonight. He said. Sarah checked the time. At the empty glass. That place is rough. You going alone? Cole nodded. I need his words out loud. I need his voice. Sarah understood voice, a recording if he could. She lowered her tone. Be careful. By late afternoon, Cole was set. Phone fully charged. Recorder ready. Precinct number in his contacts. And the bank folder in his pocket, the Pioneer logo on it, like a reminder. Before he left, he knelt to Lily's level. I'll be gone a bit. Stay with Mrs. Sarah. Lock the door. If you hear anything off, turn on every light. Lily nodded and squeezed his hand hard. Cole stepped out. Cold air woke him up. Good. He headed for the empty glass. The name was on the envelope and now on his phone. Each step lined up the questions. Who's the jacket man from Pioneer? Where does Duke sit in this chain? And who's been coaching Richard? Halfway there, the phone buzzed again. A photo came in bank counter angle. Pulled from a camera, but not one Cole took. Different fontage. Clearer. The jacket man looked right at the lens. Mouth slightly crooked. Under it, a line. Be on time. Miss it, and you lose the trail. No signature. Cole stopped for a beat, pocketed the phone, and kept moving. The question wasn't whether someone helped Richard, it was who wanted Cole to see the whole thing in the exact order they'd laid out. At the end of the block, the empty glass sign flicked on. Cole hit the empty glass right on time. Walked straight in. No looking around. No asking the bartender. The text said, "Come alone." So that's what he did. A guy around 40 sat at the last table, stubble on his chin. Eyes parked on a glass of water. When Cole stopped, the guy looked him over. Shoes to face. Slow. No. Attitude. Duke? Cole asked. Yeah. You're Cole. His voice was rough. Flat. You really came alone? Like you asked. Duke nodded and nudged a chair. Sit. No small talk. Cole sat across from him, hands resting easy on the table. He kept his breathing slow, his eyes level. Duke watched his hands, like he was clocking what kind of fuse Cole had. What do you want from me? Cole opened. Short. Not much. Duke tipped his head. I want that Richard to eat it. I want you to drag him into the light where the cops can see him. I want him to learn what a debt feels like. Cole kept his eyes on him. And in return, Duke pulled a beat-up phone from his pocket. Screen cracked clean across. In return, you get this. Cleaner than any story. He unlocked it. Slid to voice memos. Picked a file with 3 digits. It play. First came bar noise, loud talk. Glass clinks. Some idiot laughing. Then a voice Cole knew too well. The kind that tightens your throat on its own. Richard. Slick. Hyped up. Sandpapered by booze. Told you. This one's easy. Cole's house. I let Pioneer handle the papers. They close fast. Stamp it red. Who's gonna argue? The kid's stipend. I pulled it. Covered my tab. Still had extra. He snorted in the recording. A laugh like bricks grinding. You think I'm stupid? I pay Duke on time. That's done. Soldier Boy comes back. So what? I hold the guardianship. I hold the kid, he wants her. He pays. Cole listened. Hands flat on the wood. The tendons standing out. Duke cut the clip right where Richard's voice went high. He looked up. Enough for you? Not yet. Cole said. Tone steady. The rest? Duke tapped play again. Chair scrape. Lighter flick. Richard. Again, giddy. Like he'd won a hand. Tonight. 10 o'clock. Warehouse 3, by the river. The depot. I pick up the last piece. The guy with the Pioneer logo said he's bringing fresh papers so I can wave 'em in his face. Those two are scared of me already. Don't sweat it. You wanna watch? Show up. But don't bring cops. I'll kick you down the stairs, huh? Duke killed the audio. Set the phone in the middle and nudged it toward Cole a hair. Like a test. I've got the master. That one's just a copy. What do you get by giving it to me? Cole asked. I get to watch him burn. And if you're smart, I get some of what he owes me back. Duke leaned back, eyes not smiling. Richard promised to square up with the house itself. He didn't. I don't like that breed. So you're selling him out? Cole said. Duke shrugged. I'm selling out the guy who sold me out. He leaned in, kept his voice low. Listen, I'm not your pal. I'm not doing charity. I'm practical. You want him in daylight. I want him dropped. We meet in the middle. Cole pushed the phone back to center. I need a copy. Email. Text your call. Duke half smiled. You trust, I'll send it. No. But I know how to make this worth your while. Cole tilted his head. If I go to the cops, I can keep your name out of it, so long as you don't screw this up. Duke waited a full second, long enough to show he wasn't impulsive. Fine, he said. You get it as soon as you walk out. And what are you doing with Warehouse 3? Showing up. Cole said. Get the proof. Call the cops at the right moment. He paused. You got a way to pull the Pioneer guy in. Duke snorted. He shows when there's cash. Trust me. There will be tonight. They want this boxed up. House is gone. They need to tie off the last loose end. Richard's mouth. Cole didn't argue. No point debating morals with a lone man. He went to what mattered. How'd you get the recording? Richard brags when he's drunk. Thinks everyone's his buddy. I left the phone on the table. That's it. Duke shrugged. 2 clips. The one with the time and the warehouse. Like you heard. The other about the kid's stipend. Both are enough to hang him. Cole checked his watch. Still time. He stood and gave a nod. Send it. I'm going. Duke didn't try to stop him. He just said, calm as concrete. Don't bring the kid. And don't bring a crowd that spooks him. Richard's only a coward when he thinks nobody's watching. Too many eyes, and he goes crazy. You want me to do your part? Cole said. That's right. I don't need the spotlight. I like the view. Duke drummed a finger once. Then added, and don't kid yourself, Pioneer ain't clean. The guy at the bank, you saw him. They know what they're doing. Tonight, he might bring someone else. Keep your cool. Cole didn't answer that last bit. He walked 3 steps out. His phone buzzed. An audio file dropped in title. RG1. The text with it read, copy. Clear enough. Good luck. No name. Cole played it once more. Clean sound. Richard's voice unmistakable. Everything matched. Outside. He called Sarah. Lock the door. Don't open for anyone. I'm doing a run. Lily stays inside tonight. Sarah said, okay. Nothing more. Cole added a note to himself. Warehouse 3, 10 p.m. Depot. He stood under the awning half a minute, laying out the route in his head. 1. Get there early. Watch entrances. Pick a spot. 2. To record the whole time. 3. If Richard shows with papers, make him say names and how he took the money. 4. Call the cops when his hands are on the evidence. Simple, only if he kept the leash tight, stay calm. The phone buzzed again. Duke's number. If you see a grey pickup cocked across the front, back off. That's his guy. Not mine. Cole logged it. Didn't reply. He swung by Sarah's. Stopped at the door. Didn't go in. Just called Lily out for a hug. I'm going to work, he said. Don't open the door for anyone tonight. Lily nodded. Dead serious. Be careful. Dad. He touched her hair and turned away. On the drive to the depot, he fired up the recorder and tested a couple lines. Wind hissed past the mic, but didn't drown him out. He slid the phone into the inside pocket. A bud in one ear. The last text from Duke came as he turned onto the river road, Warehouse 3 has a side door. He likes that entrance. Don't stand at the front. Cole read it and cleared it off the screen. No distractions. His heart beat slow, and even a field trick carried into regular life. He thought about Mara flat on her hospital bed, Sarah holding Lily on the couch, the Mercy General band catching on his sleeve last night, the Pioneer logo stamped cold on paper, Richard's voice on the tape. Sell the house. Pull the cash. Wave the paper. Keep the kid. It all narrowed to one point. Warehouse 3. 10 o'clock. Cole picked up his pace. On his wrist. The minute hand crawled toward the number he'd marked in his head. At the end of the street. His phone lit with one more line. Not Duke. Not Sarah. Too early, and you miss it. Too late, and you only see what's left. Edton Sharp. The side door opens. No signature. Didn't need one. Cole curled his hand into a fist and stepped into the dark toward the sheds. In his ear, Duke's recording ran that line again in Richard's voice. Like tearing paper. Tonight, 10 o'clock. Warehouse 3. Pick up the last piece. Where'd that come from? Lily asked. In the car. Cole said, voice dropping. Somebody left it. He flipped the sheet. On the back, a ballpoint scrawl. Bring copies 3p. M. No name. Just a time the same window Mara was admitted. Along the edge. A smudge like hospital pens leave. It all locked together like a mean little puzzle. The day Mara was treated was the day the POA appeared. Cole folded the schedule, slid it back in the envelope, and set it on the table inside. He called Sarah. I just found Mara's chemo schedule in the glove box. First date matches the POA. Sarah went quiet. Then drew a breath. My God. He waited till your sister was at her weakest. Cole didn't add a word. The answer was sitting there. Lily sat beside him, laid her hand on the envelope. Aunt Mara was sick that day. Cole nodded, turned to her. Yeah. And someone took advantage. He said those last two words like setting stones, not to scare her, but to mark what mattered. He photographed the envelope and the schedule and sent them to the investigator who'd called after the hearing. Read receipt came back with a short line. Preserve the evidence. Bring it in tomorrow. Cole closed his phone and looked around. The house that had just warmed up now carried the smell of an old truth. He didn't let it pull them under. He lifted Lily onto the couch, pulled a blanket over her, set Sarah's whistle on the side table. If you get scared, squeeze my hand, he said. Lily nodded and threaded her fingers into his. The first night home had no shouting, no locks, clicking, just two people breathing. Lily dozed in and out every time she startled. She pressed his hand, and he didn't let go. Toward morning she slept deeper. Cole got up, made a quiet round, latched the deadbolt, left the hall light on, and taped a list to the fridge. Morning, take envelope to the precinct. Hospital, to see Mara. Call bank to freeze old paperwork. At daybreak, Sarah showed right on her word. She put down a basket of warm bread, lifted the lid on yesterday's soup to heat it, set out a plate of sliced apples. How was the night? Good, Cole said. She slept in the living room. Lily ran out with bread in her hand. A small smile. Mrs. Sarah. I have a desk. Sarah followed her to the garage, took in the wooden board across the car. Eyes wet, but smiling anyway. Better than anything on Main Street. The two vets came back and checked the roof. You're good. Light rain won't get you, the stocky one said. The tall one put a hand on Cole's shoulder. You holler if you need anything. Cole nodded. I owe you both. You don't owe a thing. The other grinned. We just want to hear that kid laugh. Cole moved the envelope to his inside pocket and tucked it tight. He took Lily to school to re-enroll. The homeroom teacher looked at Lily, then at Cole. She can start whenever she wants. We're ready. Lily nodded and said small but clear enough for adults to hear. I'll come every day, again. Cole smiled. Tomorrow. On the way back, he stopped at the hospital. Mara sat propped on pillows. More hair gone, but her eyes steady. Cole put the envelope on the tray. Found this in the car. Mara looked at the schedule. Her mouth trembled. This date, that was my first round. She lifted her eyes. No question mark needed. He picked the day. Cole nodded. Mara bit her lip. I remember, he said. Sign this, and you can focus on treatment. I couldn't read the small print. I just wanted to get to chemo on time. She closed her eyes. A tear slipped out. He used my illness. She said finally, saying the thing she already knew. Not just him. Cole said. Someone walked him into the court. Someone walked him into the bank. This schedule goes in the file. Mara opened her eyes and nodded. She reached and took a pinch of Cole's shirt, just a little hold. Keep Lily close, she said. No more promises from strangers. Cole nodded. No one. He stopped at the station and turned in the envelope and photos. Signed the chain of custody. The investigator checked the times and asked, Glove box? Yeah. Who could have put it there? Richard. Or someone from Pioneer. He wrote, Schedule time aligns with POA submission. Noted. He asked Cole to come in next week to cross-check. We may pull court work logs to match. We've requested them. At noon. Cole headed home. Lily had already made order out of the desk corner pens in a line. Sticky notes that read, Math redo. Spelling practice. She looked up. Dad. Can I read you something? Go ahead. Lily read. Every word clear. Not rushed. Cole listened to the end and tapped the desk once like a judge's gavel. Only softer. Good. In the afternoon. Sarah brought a small bouquet. She set it on the sill. For the house to smell like a house. She looked at Cole. Tomorrow I'll hit the market and pick up paint for the garage. Cole nodded. I'll go with you. After a beat, Sarah asked, What'd the investigators say? They took the envelope. Cole said, tapping the pocket that was now empty. Date on the schedule matches the POA. Sarah pressed her lips. Then it's plain. He waited till Mara was weakest. The words came out like pulling a knife from its sheath, not to stab, but to see the cut. That evening, Lily took a quick bath, put on pajamas, and came to the couch with a cup of milk. I'm sleeping out here with you, she said. Right here. Cole answered. He checked the locks again, left the hall light on, set the door chime on the table. Lily pulled up the blanket and tucked herself into his arm. I'm going to school tomorrow, she said quietly. Yeah, Cole said. The tremor in her body was smaller than last night. When she was out, Cole opened his notebook and drew a line of time. Mara's first chemo next to it. P. O. A. Appears. Withdrawal dates. Bank camera clips. Depot. Night U. S. B. Knife. Fake order. Hearing verdict. Today, envelope in the glove box. The marks tied into one hard line. Richard waited for Mara's weakest day to get a signature, and he didn't do it alone. Cole shut the book and looked at Lily. She was curled in, breathing even. He touched her wrist. The faint mark from the mercy band was almost gone. Good. He clicked off one switch and left a small lamp on. Before he closed his eyes, he thought about tomorrow's call from the investigator. They'd ask about the black jacket with the silver paint streak, the Pioneer logo, the grey truck. He'd lay the chemo schedule on the table, point to the matching date, and say, this is where it starts. In the quiet. One last thing settled for him. Richard didn't just sell the house and take the money. He timed the P. O. A to Mara's illness. And somewhere, another hand held the door open for him to walk through. On the first morning after the lights came back, Lily sat at the desk we'd built out of the old car's back seat, opened her notebook, and wrote on the first line, Today I have a real desk. The letters were even, slow. No, tremble. I stood behind her and mouthed the words like a pledge. Read it back. Kid. She did quiet, but clear. One short sentence, and the whole house opened up. Sarah knocked and came in with a basket of toast and a thermos of warm milk. Leave it on the table. Finish your line and then eat. She looked at the page and smiled. It's beautiful. Lily closed the notebook and slid it into the new drawer with the care you use for something precious. A sliver of cardboard stuck out at the edge, a scrap of the old sold sign I'd cut down. Edges smoothed, and given her as a bookmark. Sarah saw it and nodded, like she'd just watched a door close itself. Mara was discharged for a few days to rest at home. I set up a cot in the living room, pulled a chair close, and put a warm water bottle within reach. Take your meds after you eat, I said. Mara nodded. Any better? Better, she said, thin voice. Tired. But the fear had faded from her eyes. Lily brought her notebook over, crouched by her aunt. Opened to the page with the sold bookmark. Look at my letters, she said. Mara touched Lily's cheek, read the line, and smiled. Beautiful. At noon, the two veteran neighbors swung by to tighten an old outlet, test the door chime, and check the window latches. Good. If the bell rings at night, you can relax, one said. I thanked them. They waved it off. That kid's laugh pays the bill. Lily stood in the doorway and raised a hand, like a salute to her father's buddies. In the afternoon, Sarah read beside Lily. They took turns, one page each, then stopped to talk about the part they liked. Which page gets a mark? Sarah asked. The one where the character finds her way home, Lily said. She slid the sold scrap into that page. Sarah glanced at me with a look that said, the past is for folding up now. That night I cooked something simple. Lily carried a bowl to Mara, sat next to her, and ate without that old flash of fear. I'm sleeping in my room tonight, Lily said, almost as a test to herself. I looked at her and didn't rush it. Door open. Hall, light on. I'm on the sofa right outside. She nodded. The nod had more weight than it did a few nights ago. After dinner, I straightened the garage again. I didn't dig up the past. I just cleared what we didn't need. In the glove box of the dead car, where I'd found the chemo schedule yesterday, I slid in a clean sheet of paper and wrote one line. Don't let anyone else pick the date for this family. Not for anger, just a reminder. While Lily showered, Sarah pulled me onto the porch and whispered, I'll sleep in the small room tonight and help with Mara. You catch an hour or two. I shook my head. You sleep. I'm used to the night shift. Tomorrow I'll drive Mara to her follow-up. Sarah nodded. At our age, you learn silence. Used right is its own kind of help. When it got dark, Lily set her own pillow, put a small stuffed bear at the head of the bed, and left the door ajar. You'll be right there. I dragged the sofa up to her doorway. Right here. She pulled the blanket up. No, don't turn the light off tonight. The light was already on. An hour. 2 hours. Her breathing evened out. Every time she turned, her hand found the edge of the bed, checked for my coat hanging on the chair, and settled. Next morning I took Mara to the hospital on schedule. The doctor skimmed the chart and nodded. Stable. We keep watching. On the way home, Mara said quietly, that day I signed because I thought I could get the infusion done right after. Looking back, I let someone push me into the break. I said, no one's pushing anymore. That sold sign now, it's a bookmark. It got a small laugh out of her. After that, she was tired and leaned her head on the window. During the day, I stopped at the station with copies, photos of the sold scrap, and the chemo schedule. The investigator kept it short. We're pulling the court's work roster from that day. There's signs, someone inside, set the calendar and stamped the file off the books. When we have it, I'll call. I nodded. Didn't ask when. I just said, we'll be home. I'm taking Lily to school. The house started living the way a house should. Mornings smelled like butter. By noon, the roof tools faded to a faint tap. Then nothing. Afternoons had homework and Sarah reading stories. Evenings had light steps, a small cough from the living room, and spoons hitting bowls to say, "We're all right." Lily practiced getting up early, packed her bag, and tucked her notebook with the sold bookmark inside. I read first in class today, she reported each afternoon, handing me her slips. I didn't cheer. I filed them in the family folder next to her mother's photo. The new order of the house took shape. 1 noon, a cold gust blew through and passed. I checked the time 1 week since the verdict. My hand went to my inside pocket, where I used to keep the chemo envelope. Empty. Good. Evidence was where it belonged. The house still needed things, but the important pieces were in place. A bed for the patient. A desk. A sofa pulled up to a child's doorway. A phone with the precinct number saved. And Sarah's whistle on the table. The phone buzzed while Lily and I were wiping her desk. Unknown number. Short ring. I looked and picked up. The investigator. Mr. Cole. Quick update. We've identified a court employee who appears to have abetted the temporary guardianship file that day. They've been suspended, pending investigation. The rest we keep going. I stood quiet a few beats and said, "Thank you. Call when you need my signature again." "We will," he said. Click. Clean. I stood still a moment and turned to Lily. She looked up. "What is it?" "Dad. A grown-up at the court got caught doing the wrong thing." I said, "They're fixing it." Lily thought about it and asked the only piece that mattered to her. "So, is our house still safe?" "Yes." I said, "Safe." I said it clear enough to leave it in the walls. The pillows. The door. Later. Sarah brought new curtains. She and Lily measured, cut, and tied them on. "What do you think?" "Pretty," Lily said. She set the little sold scrap on the corner of her desk, like a period at the end of a sentence. Sarah looked at the cardboard and said to me, "That thing's just paper now." Night came and the house went warm and gold. Mara slept her first quiet stretch. Sarah brewed tea and sat on the stoop, calling softly through the living room. "Sleep. Morning's early." I closed my notebook and dimmed the lights, left one small lamp in the hall. I stepped into Lily's room. She was out, hand resting on the sold scrap, like saving a place. I pulled up her blanket, slid the scrap into the middle of the notebook, and set it straight. "Keep it here," I whispered, knowing she couldn't hear me. Before I lay down on the sofa, I opened my phone and typed one line into my notes. "Keep the light." No big vows. Just one clear word. Across the room, Lily rolled and murmured, like she was talking in a dream. "Dad," I answered. "Quiet. Right here." Our breathing found the same pace. Out there, justice still had roads to travel. The court inside her. The logo man. The grey truck. In here, justice had turned into small, solid things. A kid with a desk. A patient with meds on time. A neighbor with the spare key in the right place. And a sold sign cut down to a bookmark instead of hanging on the porch. Next morning, Lily shouldered her backpack, stood in the doorway, looked into the house and out to the street. "I'm going to school." I raised a short hand. "The quick salute you give in the yard." Lily grinned, copied it, and ran. Sarah waved after her. "Apple pie this afternoon." Mara called from inside. "Eat extra." The house answered with Lily's little, "Okay." Drifting back through the gate, the most ordinary sound in the world. I stood alone at the threshold, staring at the space my daughter had just run through. I closed the door. The house was bright. Not because of bulbs, but because people were standing where they belonged. I walked through the garage and ran a hand across the desk. On the paper, Lily's line was still there. "Today I have a real desk." I drew a thin underline under today. Out there. The phone might buzz again. In here. What I needed to hear was already enough. Spoons on bowls. Pages turning. Steady sleep. The light had come back. And this time, it was staying. This story reminds you that a house doesn't warm itself. The people inside have to hold each other to what's right. Kindness needs a line in the sand. You know when to say no, so the weaker one stays safe. Showing up beats any promise. A hand on a shoulder can change a life. Kids don't need perfect adults, just steady ones who listen. Healing shows up in small, daily things. A hot meal. A light left on. A decent desk to do homework. When you shut the past, what lasts is plain decency, the kind that keeps a home lit. In the end, the house comes on like it never went dark. A school desk rigged from an old car seat. Sarah's soup still warm in your hands. Mara breathing easier. And Cole stretched out by his kid's door with the hall light low. The sold sign is torn to pieces and tucked into Lily's notebook, past folded up, not hanging on the gate. No miracles, just small repetitions. Lock the door on time. Keep your word. Dad's here, and say no to what's wrong. If you've just come back from your own fight in a hospital, a bank, or your own kitchen, what did you hold on to? And what did you let go? So your home could warm up again. Drop one short line below. A small habit. A sentence that saved you. Or some everyday detail that kept the light from going out. Maybe the light from your story is enough to get someone else through their long night.